This mansion named Wereholme on South Bay Avenue in Islip is the last surviving Peters mansion that once stood in the area, built by coal industry businessman Samuel T. Peters.
Him and his wife, Adelaide, would come out here and summer, and within the first or second year after coming out here, they loved it so much that they decided to take some of their wealth and purchase very large land holdings. They purchased several parcels that were all adjacent to each other and ended up owning several hundred acres. As you can see from this map, this is Islip here, and they owned approximately a little shy of 300 acres of coastal Islip land, very, very highly esteemed property.
In 1910, Peters had one of the existing mansions on the property renovated into his private home.
What he set out to do was to take one of the largest that already existed, and he completely renovated it and remodeled it, and he named it Wereholme, and this was his personal estate and mansion. And it was absolutely exquisite, one of the finest homes in this area at that time. Him and his wife had two children. They had a son named Harry, who was born in 1881. And then a few years later, they had a daughter, Louisine, who was born in 1884. As a wedding gift to her, when she was married in her adulthood to a gentleman named Harold Weeks, Samuel T. Peters built this mansion for her and her husband. On the other side of the property, Louisine's brother had an estate that was built for him and his bride as well, and that was this estate here, which was called Wereholme. Louisine had traveled very often to Europe. In fact, she spent a great part of her life abroad. And she had seen the Normandy chateaus, and she absolutely fell in love with them. And so that style of design was incorporated into the building of this estate. And they commissioned the architect Governor Atterbury, who was very up and coming and progressive at the time. He is the same architect who designed Harry Havemeyer's Bayberry Point, the Moroccan village of kind of stylized after a modern Venice. Governor Atterbury also designed the American wing of the Metropolitan Museum of Art. He also designed the entire village of Forest Hills. It was his own development of incorporated buildings that all had a very Tudor flavor, absolutely beautiful community. The exterior of the building is just beautiful. It's almost castle-like. And then he carried that architecture into the interior as well. So you will see these massive architectural features like the exposed beams, beautiful vaulted ceilings and domed architecture in the hallways where the ceiling actually curves, almost cathedral style. He used a lot of wood built into the interior architecture. So the dining room, you will see, has almost that Tudor flavor of the exposed beams in the wall with the stucco or plaster in between, but with all exposed wood. Really European, fascinating European design.
In the 1940s, the family had Wereholme Mansion demolished because they could no longer keep it up. Later, Wereholme was remodeled to be smaller in size and easier to manage, but eventually was demolished as well by neglect after the family had died off and the land became a wildlife preserve. After Louisine's death, Wereholme Mansion was inherited by her daughter Adelaide Hathaway Scully, who was also known as Happy. Upon her death in 1984, Mrs. Scully willed the mansion to the National Audubon Society, intending it to become a nature preserve. Then in 2004, the mansion was sold to Suffolk County as part of a private-public partnership deal with the Seatuck Environmental Association, who opened the mansion and the property to the public in 2010.
It's a spectacular building, and one of the things I really love is that when Mrs. Scully was writing her final wills and things and thinking about the future of this building, she actually said that it was her wish that it be used as a wildlife sanctuary and a nature center. So the National Audubon Society, we say, sort of kept half of that deal. They kept the property undeveloped, but they used the building essentially as a private office space and had some residences here. So they really didn't do the public role that she had in mind. So I feel like now we're really fulfilling her wishes for the property and making it a public space. So it feels good to be here, helping make that possible and fulfilling her wishes for, it's a spectacular building. It's great to be here when new people visit and see the excitement they have in seeing such a spectacular, one-of-a-kind building.
For more information, you can check out the website seatuck.org. Wereholme remains one of the few surviving South Shore mansions where the public can get a glimpse of what these historic estates once looked like. In Islip, Collora reporting, Long Island Online News.